Good morning. My name's Alan Mayer. I'm a retired Anglican priest, and I'm leading us through the Bible in 365 readings. Today we are continuing our exploration of the ancient sagas we find in the early chapters of the Bible, and we're in that section between Abraham and the Exodus. Today we have a reading from Genesis chapter 18, verses 1 to 15. Yahweh appeared to Abraham by the sacred grove at Mamre. As he was sitting at the entrance of his tent during the heat of the day, he looked up and saw 3 men standing there. Right away he ran over to meet them, bowed his head to the ground and said, "Gentlemen, don't pass by without stopping. Let me get you something, some water for your feet. You can rest here under this tree, and I'll bring you something to eat to sustain you for your journey. Honor me by coming to my home. Let me get you something." They replied, "Thanks, we accept." Abraham hurried into the tent and said to Sarah, "Quick, get a bag of your best flour and make bread." Then he ran to the herd and selected a tender, fat calf, and a servant quickly prepared it. He himself set milk, cream, and meat before the men under the tree, and they ate. Then they asked him, "Your wife, Sarah, where is she?" "In the tent," he answered. One of them said, "This time next year I'll come back, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah was listening behind him, just inside the tent. Abraham and Sarah were very old, and Sarah had gone through her menopause. So Sarah laughed to herself. "Now I'm old and exhausted and past enjoying sex, especially with him at his age." Then Yahweh asked Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Can I really have a baby at my age? Is anything too difficult for Yahweh?' As I said, I'll be back in 9 months, and Sarah will have a son." Because Sarah was embarrassed, she denied it. She said, I didn't laugh." Yahweh replied, "Oh, yes, you did. You laughed." I hope you enjoyed this charming story. It is interesting for a number of reasons. First, it teaches us not to give up hope too soon. Sarah thought she was past childbearing, and she also thought her husband was now incapable of doing what was required of him as a man. Yahweh thought otherwise. Then there is this new picture of God, who appears at a sacred spot in the form of 3 men. We had seen God in a human form before, walking in the Garden of Eden and closing the door of Noah's Ark, but not as 3 people at once. The early Christians once again looked at these ancient tales, and it set them thinking, first about the birth of John the Baptist and Jesus, and then about the nature of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The charm of the story seduces us, as it did them. We love the story of this elderly, affectionate couple, obviously under no illusions about their age and quite hopeless about their ability to conceive. But with God's encouragement, why not give it a try? And then what about this remarkable appearance of God as 3 persons? Where might the early Christians have got the idea of the Holy Trinity? Was it here? Yes, unusual things do happen. And we might well see in our own lives the hand of God touching and blessing the world. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at one of the more puzzling aspects of Abraham's personality, as his obedience is tested by God. See you then.